Feds on Telegram is hosting a $1,000 USDT giveaway. If you're interested in more stories like the ones we cover here, you should check out the Telegram news channel @Feds. In there, you can be the first to learn about the latest news in cybercrime and join giveaways like the ones they're hosting right now. To learn more, go to t.me/feds. Anyways, enjoy the video.
May 21st, 1998.
A 15-year-old boy walks into a school in Springfield, pulls out his dad's gun, and opens fire on his classmates. 2 of them are killed, 25 others wounded. Across the world, Indonesia's streets are filled with protests. Their second president has just resigned after 31 years in power, and a new unwanted successor has already taken his place. Back in Washington, Bill Clinton has just signed the Czech Republic, Poland, and Hungary into the NATO alliance. And somewhere in San Francisco, a hacker has just discovered an exploit that's going to change his life. When people want to visit youtube.com, the domain leads to the website. This is called a DNS system, and the program most servers run to use it is called bind. This button sends a request to bind to give you the address to your desired website, and young Max has just found a way to exploit that. By sending special requests directly to the DNS server itself, he can manipulate it into crashing, and then force it to run code it was never supposed to. This gives him complete control of basically any website or server he wants, which he can then use to steal data, take over websites, or plant malware. Now, Max knows this, but instead does something else. He writes a program that scans the internet for servers open to the exploit. When it finds one, it breaks in, downloads an official patch that fixes the bug to prevent other bad actors from getting in. But Max's program isn't so heartless either, because after it secured the servers, it also leaves behind a hidden backdoor.
Rootkit.
This is a secret way for Max to get back into the system later, and now this rootkit has reached some of America's biggest research laboratories, major US Air Force bases, and even the Pentagon. A security researcher has spotted the attack by monitoring traffic on the networks affected by the exploit. Over the next few days, he maps out a list of compromised servers and writes a report about it. This report then makes it over to the feds, and just 1 month later, they show up at Max's house. The feds are unhappy with the attack, even if he was just trying to fix an issue. But Max is actually an informant for the FBI, so prosecuting him for hacking the Pentagon would be embarrassing for them. And since no damage was done, they decide to give him one last chance. They send him to Vegas to attend a hacker convention, tell him to gather intel on the attendees. While he's there, he listens to a talk by a criminal defense attorney. She tells the story of Carlos Salgado, a hacker who stole more than 100,000 credit cards before getting caught in San Francisco. After his arrest, he confessed everything to the FBI, his biggest mistake. She argues that hackers should never talk to federal agents without a lawyer, and Max realizes every mistake that Carlos made, he's done too. When he comes back home, the feds tell him about a new mission. They want him to wear a wire and get a confession out of one of his close friends. Instead, Max phones the lawyer from Vegas, and she agrees to represent him. Max lost the case. He's been sitting in prison for the past 18 months now for his attack on the Pentagon, but now he's out and desperate for money. He gets introduced to a man named Chris through one of his former cellmates. They agree to work together, and Chris buys him a brand new laptop and a directional antenna. Then he books some hotel rooms, usually high up in the building with a corner view. When Max gets set up in that room, he'll spend hours aiming the antenna around the city, looking for vulnerable Wi-Fi networks. If he finds one he can breach, he'll extract any valuable data he can find, usually customer data or credit card dumps. Later, he discovers a forum called Shadow Crew, a place where criminals from around the world can buy and sell stolen identities. Together, they learn more about carding, and Chris invests in the equipment to make cards from the dumps. He uses Max's data to reprogram the blanks, and just like that, they have cards that look, feel, and work like the real thing. Unfortunately, Max's data isn't enough to cover an operation like this. They're gonna run out pretty fast. They also don't want to buy dumps off Shadow Crew, So instead, Max gets a genius idea. He gathers a list of carders from the forum and finds their email addresses. Once he's gathered thousands of them, he makes a fake email pretending to be a well-known vendor. He sends a message to the entire list, saying he's got a shit ton of American Express dumps that he can't use or sell since it's expiring soon. Instead, he's just gonna give it away. As soon as they click the link, Max gains full access to their computer through an exploit in Internet Explorer. His website has a bugged HTML application, which installs a Trojan horse on any computer that loads it. And just like that, he's gained access to thousands of card dumps. He looks around his victims' computers, quickly realizes most of these guys aren't hackers like him, just petty fraudsters with some computer knowledge. But then he comes across a computer that has recording software installed. The user also has tons of classified FBI files, clearly an informant. Max decides to leave it alone. If he's caught again, his sentence will be even higher if they find out he's hacked another federal computer. So instead, he just sends all of his new cards to Chris to be cashed out. Chris has turned Max's data into a credit card empire. From his apartment in Villa Siena, he's printing out both cards and fake IDs to go with them, then sending girls to go shop with them for luxury items. His wife later resells the merchandise for cash, and the money is split evenly. With this method, they only get a small fraction of what they spend on the cards, not really ideal. They could get a lot more if they could get past the biggest obstacle, the PIN. Normally, in order to make an ATM withdrawal, your card needs to have 3 things. First, the account information has to be real. Second, the PIN has to match the account. And third is the magnetic stripe, which has a secret CVV1 number that needs to match the account too. Now, Max's data comes from real card machines from around the country, and all of them only require a swipe with the card. The PIN is never stored. They need to find a way around that. He brings this up to Chris, but he doesn't seem to care. He doesn't realize that every time he does another card run, he's setting himself up for getting caught. It's already happened before, and he's only getting sloppier. He's constantly on drugs, partying, and gets in trouble all the time with the police when he makes small mistakes. He's lucky no one's investigated further. Max decides maybe he doesn't really need Chris anymore, so he stops sending him his most valuable data. Decides to go do something else with it himself. Max takes his bike through the city and goes to ATMs that don't have security cameras. By now, he's memorized a pretty good route. He puts in the card, withdraws the max daily limit, and then moves on to the next one. Just a few days earlier, he discovered a glitch in the Citibank ATM software. Turns out, it didn't actually check for CVV1. Max decided to make a phishing site to trick people into giving up their card number and ATM PIN, instead of trying to go for the magnetic stripe dumps. That's all he needs to clone their cards now. He's been working with the Russians on this method, sends them a fixed percentage of his take-home via Western Union or MoneyGram. On the side, he's still hacking into small businesses and stealing their card dumps, sends those to Chris to be cashed out, or sells them on Shadow Crew for an easy profit. He moves into a $6,000 a month apartment and installs a safe where he keeps $250,000 in cash. For now, life is good.
It was evident that law enforcement they had several identities on Shadow Crew. And he tells the community, in order to remain safe, we need to make sure we're using this VPN. Turns out the VPN's owned by the United States Secret Service, and that's where, if you read the indictment, that's where the $4 million comes from.
Max needs a new forum to do his business, but all the new ones popping up are run by idiots. He sees an opportunity and decides to start his own website, teams back up with Chris, and together they start the forum cartersmarket.com. Max takes up the alias Iceman, B-Site admin. He also gets a secret alias, Digits, in order to sell products on the site without attracting attention. Over the coming months, the site grows steadily to around 1,500 members. But his forum isn't the only one people use. Since the downfall of Shadow Crew, there's around 4 other competitor sites that people use: Scandinavian Carding, The Vouched, Talk Cash, and Dark Market. To Max, this is disorganized and stupid. He doesn't want 5 different communities fighting for the same users. He wants one central marketplace, and he wants it to be his. So he decides to solve the problem the same way he usually does, by hacking everyone else. Getting in is the easy part. The security on these servers is pretty sloppy, and the forum admins frequently reuse passwords leaked from different databases. Once he's in, he copies their entire database and deletes all backups. Then he moves it over to Carter's Market. And just like that, he successfully shut down his competitors and migrated their users to his own forum. He sends them all an email. Welcome to Carter's Market. It is now the #1 carding forum. Chris heads out to the Fashion Island Mall in Newport Beach with his new partner. In the car, they have 70 credit cards and a bunch of ecstasy. They head to Bloomingdale's and spend about $13,000 on Coach bags. Then they go back to the car and head over to their next stop. As they're putting the bags in the trunk, a white police cruiser drives up to them. After hearing the news, Max becomes extremely paranoid, starts noticing random cars parked on his street. Eventually, it gets so bad that he buys a rope ladder in case he needs to jump out the window. His girlfriend notices that he's losing his mind and tells him to retire before something bad actually happens. He knows she's right. He heads up to his safe house in downtown San Francisco. Once inside, he logs into his admin account and starts writing his announcement for retirement. But then, a message from one of his competitors pops up on the screen. It's a long sentence about noobs making dumb mistakes, but random letters within have been capitalized, and by separating them out, they spell Max's full name. Seems like Max fell asleep during the worst possible moment. His hard drives are encrypted, so there's no way anybody can see what's on his computer, but the machine is still on, which means the key to decrypt it is stored in the RAM. If he jumps out of bed now to pull the plug, he'll for sure get shot. So he accepts his fate.
Blow bands, blow bands, blow bands. Bands. Check my pants, they say true man. Blue bands, blue bands, blue bands. Check my pants, they say true man.